Hey friends, this is Carrie and welcome back to I Like Reddit channel. Today we have a variety of stories out of some different subreddits. Let's begin. Our first story is posted by Tar Alcaran. Multiple entitled parents confuse adult LARP demo for video game babysitting. I LARP, or live action roleplay, as a hobby. I also run a LARP for that said hobby in a science fiction setting. It involves Nerf guns and spaceship simulators with multiple stations, which means the crew has to cooperate to succeed. We set up the demo booth at a local tech/art/invention show because that's really fun, and it's exactly the target audience we want for our game. The demo was a 10-minute run on the bridge and a 5-minute Nerf shootout in a hallway with some cover, using amped up Nerf blasters, or depending on popularity and engagement, it would last longer or shorter. This is not exactly set up for children. The video game is really hard and it requires a lot of cooperation, and the Nerf guns tend to be painful. Not exactly hurt, but getting shot in the face is not exactly fun. Now naturally, over the weekend we ran this demo. We had numerous entitled parents trying to drop off their kids at the video game booth. We had a clear over 16 only sign up, which was required by the organization. But it didn't stop entitled parents, of course. Multiple parents just dropped their kids off. We'd shoo them out of the booth and plop them straight back out into the main area as not our problem. This got multiple entitled parents shouting at us for not watching their kids. We simply pointed at the sign and informed them that it wasn't our job to watch their kids. One parent pulled a custom Nerf blaster from the rack that said "ask before touching," pulled back the extreme tough spring and shot it at his 6-year-old kid in the neck. The kid, of course, immediately started crying because, well, so would I. That hurts like heck. He then shouts that we shouldn't keep such dangerous things around kids, and he was going to get us kicked out. He throws the Nerf blaster on the ground, damaging it. Later, he comes back with someone from the organization. His kid was pretty obviously red, right on the spot of his neck. We explained he grabbed it without permission and shot his kid himself, absolutely on purpose. And he damaged our goods, pointing out that it was more than a €150 toy. He gets removed from the location, and the organization ended up paying us and recouping the damages on the EP. One kid tried to take one of the tablets we use for the Starship Simulator. These tablets are under metal frames, which are screwed into wooden stands, so they're not exactly something you can pocket. That didn't stop the kid from trying to walk out with the whole backpack-sized stand. When we stopped him, a bit unsubtly, because we already had 2 other attempted thefts of the Nerf blasters before this, the parent tried to pay us €50 for the tablets, because their son deserved this game too. Let's ignore the fact that it's useless without at least 4 of the devices to run the game, and it requires a lot of setup, but the tablet itself is about €300. The parent wouldn't stop until we threatened to call the police. As I said before, over the weekend we had 3 kids and 2 parents trying to steal our Nerf blasters. Most of them were hand-modified and cost at least €60 purely in parts, with hours of labor invested in them. We had a big bowl of Nerf darts with our website on it as a promo giveaway. We had a few kids and more than a few parents take a whole handfuls of the darts instead of just one. All of them denied doing so despite still holding the darts. On Sunday, we moved to the sign-in sheet and required people to fill in their name and their age. That stopped most of the dump your kids off stuff. The event was pretty successful nonetheless. Several really interested people joined the game afterwards, and none of them brought their kids. I've seen LARPing a couple of times, like at the park, and it always looked really cool, with the costumes and the weapons and stuff like that. People put a lot of time and creativity into it, and it's really cool. And you see some of them, some of the costumes and stuff like that at Comic-Cons and things like that, and those are also pretty cool. But as far as conventions go, or trade shows like this one, they're trying to acquire more members, that sort of thing. I'd noticed that trade show booths, they typically have somebody that actually watches over the booth, and people are less likely to just help themselves to promotional goodies when somebody is actually standing there and guarding or minding the booth. People are also less likely to just grab something off the wall or grab something off the table, too. So that might be an idea for the future. Also, guarding the sign-in booth and actually making people sign in and sign in their kids is also another good way. Anyway, on to the next story. Next story is posted by Emo Hipster. Roommate likes to scream at Fortnite? No one to scream at when it doesn't work. My ex-roommate, a 35-year-old man, who moved his game station from his bedroom to the living room. Now, I didn't mind it one bit, but then Fortnite happened. Dude would play every free moment. He'd eat dinner at his little desk. He'd cut his nails at the desk and throw the clippings on the floor. Fortnite is life. He'd be wearing these gaming headphones, and he'd be talking, yelling, screaming, laughing maniacally, just generally being loud the whole dang time, with zero consideration for whatever or whoever is near him. Asking him to tone it down had zero effect. I couldn't be in the living room anytime without going nuts. If I wanted to watch something on TV, wanted to work, wanted to cook, eat, read, anything, really, I had to do it while trying to ignore his loud BS. Even when I was trying to sleep at night, I would hear him screeching about the walls and purple guns or whatever. I was so done. Until I found a solution. Every time I wanted to do something that needed some silence, I would fire up the massive torrent and allocate all our bandwidth towards it. In a couple of seconds, he'd be disconnected from his voice chat and the game would start to lag like crazy. Him, "Oh no, this crap's happening again. Hey, you also having problems with your internet?" Me, "It's a bit sluggish, but I'm just browsing, so it doesn't really bother me." He would call the internet service provider to ask what's up, but by the time he got off hold, I would pause the torrent and everything would go back to normal. Well, until he started screeching again, of course. Too long, didn't read. Roommate is an obnoxiously loud Fortnite player. I allocate all our bandwidth to a massive torrent to make his game unplayable. Silence. Down in the comments, another commenter added, "If you block Fortnite on the router firewall, you don't have to slow everything else down with a torrent." The OP responded with, "He moved out, so everything's great and silent now." Anyway, our final story for today is posted by Dutch Yardine. "You're an air marshal." This is very short, but I thought I'd share it because it made me giggle a little. I just flew home after a quick business event. I was in an aisle seat. There were two ladies sitting in the seats in front of me. They were maybe in their mid-50s, most likely family because they were talking about Thanksgiving plans. The lady in front of me was so loud, they could probably hear those Thanksgiving plans all the way up in the cockpit. Across the aisle from them was a man who was probably in his 30s, who was quite muscular. Shortly after the seatbelt sign came off, the muscular man got up to use the restroom, and the lady directly in front of me practically screamed to her companion, "I think that man's an air marshal. He sat there during takeoff and was really paying attention to everything." To which the other lady said, "Maybe." The funny part was about 10 minutes later when the air marshal got a drink which happened to have alcohol in it. At which point the lady said, "Well, I guess he's not an air marshal." Her voice was just dripping with how offended she was that the poor man chose a profession other than the one that she had picked out for him. I just got a huge kick out of this, completely reminded me of this sub, so I had to share. Anyway, that's all the stories I have today. Please stop on by Reddit to show the OP some love and an upvote. Links to the original stories will be in the description box below. If you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell notification to let you know when I've uploaded new content. Thank you for watching and have a great day.